I don't know what that was, but it's Friday again. I'm actually recording this on Thursday. Very organized of me, I'm not usually like this. It is very hot today, so forgive me. I've put a t-shirt on just for this video. I'd rather be lying on the floor, feeling the coldness of the tiles right now. Let's get into the book we've been reading this week. It is Breath. I bet you guys didn't think breathing was that complicated. I mean, maybe you learned about the alveoli and bronchi and bronchio, the respiratory system. So this is a bit more in-depth take into just breathing as a whole. Talks about Pilates, yogic breathing, yoga, monks, Buddhists, how they breathed. I mean, a lot of the stuff, base a lot of their meditations around is breath itself and the power of it. And this book goes really in depth into that. Lots of interesting topics of discussion. I don't usually go in depth to the books I read and talk about the things, but I want to do that today because I realize I'm missing out. This is all information from this book and there's so much in it. I'm just going to go over some of the little bits that I've got from it. When we had developed the ability to speak, something in our throat called the larynx, I don't know how to say it, dropped, allowing us to speak and communicate. There's been many advantages of that, but there has also been many disadvantages, such as we now are much more susceptible to choking.
We are not mad, we are just disappointed.
No, we are mad.
We are livid, but...
I also wanted to talk about Looksmaxing. Surprisingly, a lot of the stuff which goes in tandem with Looksmaxing appears in this book, such as mouth taping and mewing. I mean, the general preface of health is that it's highly correlated with how you look. If you look good, you're probably very healthy. That is kind of what attractiveness is based on. And the whole Looksmaxing epidemic is to make yourself look as attractive as possible, and I suppose it's the only thing that they see as valuable, which obviously is not true. But a lot of the stuff that comes with looking after yourself and improving your health unfortunately goes into tandem with this mindset that the Looksmaxers have. So there are some fairly valuable things you can do, which they do, which aren't totally crazy, like bone smashing. So let's get into them. First is mewing. We often talk about correct your posture. We don't always talk about oral posture. We've never been taught what's the correct way to have your mouth. Should you just have it open like this? It's quite obviously not the correct oral posture, and what is believed to be the correct oral posture is having your mouth sealed, teeth in a light bite together, with your tongue pushed up against the roof of your mouth in a light vacuum seal. Is the correct form theorized by some orthodontists and dentists. We instead think about what's the correct way to stand, and they kind of go hand in hand because we stand in the easiest way to breathe. So if you've got the wrong oral posture, you'll stand weirdly, and if you're standing weirdly, you've got the wrong oral posture. Next, I want to talk about the importance of chewing. Since our industrialization, we've evolved onto a diet of more soft foods which require very little chewing and kind of just melt in your mouth. They kind of just turn into mush quite easily. We were evolved to eat foods that were tough and required chewing, and sometimes we'd be chewing for several hours of the day. Our historic selves would be doing that. It is one explanation of why our teeth are crooked, because we don't chew properly, we don't breathe properly, and breathing properly would be breathing through your nose. You're not supposed to breathe through your mouth. Obviously it's okay every now and then during some strenuous exercise, I would assume, to breathe out your mouth, because it drastically increases your intake of oxygen. But this book also goes into a different take in saying that the concentration of carbon dioxide within your lungs is also important. Just gonna find it. The chemoreceptor and the amygdala. I think I'm saying both of them right, and its conjunction with carbon dioxide detection and how it links to anxiety. I'm not going to even try and explain it because I don't fully understand what's going on here. It's gone a bit over my head. But if you want to learn more about that kind of thing, read the book. Yeah, and it gives one explanation for the reason why we have crooked teeth, which is we don't develop the correct oral posture with the mouth and not exerting enough pressure on our palate to keep it wide, so then our teeth are crooked. We're also not chewing, so our jaws don't develop enough. And the whole premise around modern dentistry is to pull the jaw back, which shrinks the airway, whereas it should be to pull the jaws forward or the maxilla forward, so that the airway increases and then the teeth expand the room for the teeth, which is less commonly done and also more difficult. Closing up, I want to get on to a podcast I watched this week on evolution and how evolution links to a lot of the things that we worry about in everyday now life. You know, we can have the similar response to that which a bear chasing us as to going into work that day because you've got something you're really nervous about. It's a similar response that your nervous system has, and we haven't really adapted to live in the modern society with all the problems we've got now. Lastly, I want to talk about something that's come up this week. It's been a little bit of a problem for me. Instagram. That app. I did not have the best relationship with that app, I'm going to be totally honest. My approach with it is whenever I tend to go on there, I don't necessarily have an exact reason for going on there. And when that's the case, that is when I have the worst experience of just comparing myself to everyone that's on there, and just kind of ruins me. Just kind of these things that just intrigue on your piece that you had just chilling. You know, everyone always puts their 100% best selves on there and the best things they did of that month or whatever, and that's all you see. So you don't see all the other stuff that led up to them trying to work to get to that point. My approach to it has always been, unless I have an exact reason to go on the app, I just don't. I'm much happier that way. I mean, that's at least how I'm coping with it for now, so we shall see. Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching the video. Hopefully I get this edited on Friday, because it's late while I'm recording this on Thursday. I don't think I'm going to have time to do it, and the France game's on, so, you know, I got to watch that. Anyway, thank you guys for watching. I'll see you guys in the next one, where I will be making a return to reading a Red Rising book. Anyway.